Right, welcome to the final module in the course. In this module, I'm really just going to run through a little bit of maintenance and support that you're going to be expected to do, or at least if you're looking after your clients' interests, then you need to provide this kind of maintenance and support to your clients. Now, you can charge for it, obviously, and I suggest you do charge for it because it's going to take up some of your time, but it's going to mean that the clients' sites stay secure and updated with content, updated software, various things that you're going to need to do on either a daily or a weekly basis. Now, at the time of developing this course, I do charge my clients for this. I charge them, I think it's £120 a year to maintain and support their sites. Now, that doesn't include changing any content for them. I handle that in a different way. This is purely to do with security maintenance, keeping the site secure and keeping the software that's running the site up to date. Now, if anything goes wrong in the course of updating the sites, if they're paying me that money, then obviously I fix it within that fee. Most of the time things are fine. You know, if one plugin does cause a problem, then it's usually a relatively easy thing to fix, but on occasion it can cause some problems, so you just have to be a little bit careful. But because I'm looking after so many sites, then I tend to make sure that the update works on one site before I apply it to all the others. But let's just run through quickly the sorts of things that you're going to have to consider doing on behalf of your clients. So let's assume that you've logged in, so you've logged into the WordPress dashboard, and very often when you log in, the first thing that you'll see is that it will indicate that there are some sort of updates. These appear to be plugin updates that are required, so let's just click on plugins. We can then see that there is an update for the Akismet plugin, for the All-in-One SEO plugin, and the Contact Form Controls plugin. So let's just click on Update Available so we can just list the 3 plugins that need to be updated. So then just using the drop down, I click Update and Apply. That will then just go away and apply those updates. Now, if anything does go wrong at this point, if a plugin fails to do an update, it may be that when you go to the front end of the site, you cannot view it. It'll show an error of some sort. Thankfully, in this case, it looks as though everything's going to be fine. It's actually still updating, so let's just let that complete first of all. Yep. Okay, so now I'll do the refresh and just check that everything's still working. Now, if I did update the Contact Form plugin there, I may just do a quick check to make sure the contact form was still working. A lot of problems that do occur relate to the contact form, if I'm honest. But on the whole, it's pretty stable and it'll work fine most of the time. Okay, is that going to reload? Yep, so that's all fine. So those plugins are now updated. So that's the sort of thing that you may want to look at for your clients on a regular basis, just to see if any software needs updating. Obviously the theme may get updated as well, so you'll have to update the theme. I tend to update the theme via the FTP process, as we've demonstrated in an earlier module, whereby I'll download the latest version of the theme, unzip it, copy it across via FTP and overwrite all the files that are there in the process. And certainly with the Avada, touch wood, I've never had any issues with that. It's always worked every time, because I think the developers at Avada are pretty hot on that they don't want any problems as a result of any of the updates, so they test it very, very extensively and carefully before they release an update. Okay, so that's that. Now, the other thing that you might want to do for your clients is to take backups of the site, just in case anything does go wrong. There are lots of plugins out there that allow you to take backups. I use one called Updraft. It's a free plugin. I'm just going to activate it now, and you'll see that this pop-up appears. You can work through this if you like the first time, and just it just gives you a sort of quick tutorial about how to use it. But I'm going to skip that and just go straight into the Updraft settings. So you see that we've got a number of tabs available to us here, one of which is settings. So let's just click on it on settings. I'm going to set the backup to happen weekly, and I'm going to set it to keep 4 copies of the backup. So that means that it'll have 4 weeks worth of backups before the first week then gets overwritten by the 5th week, it would be, wouldn't it? And so on. Now, by default, it's going to back up the plugins folder, the themes, and the uploads, and a copy of the database, which is basically everything that you need. Now, if I was to click Save Changes now, that would all be fine, and it would back up, but it would back up to the server on which this website is located. Now, with some hosts, that's absolutely fine, but with Heart Internet, they will not allow you to do it. It will work, but eventually you'll get a message from Heart Internet to say that they've disabled it. Basically because they don't want you to take up their valuable disk space by storing a lot of backups of a site, which is perfectly fair enough. So what I tend to do is I use Dropbox for my backups, and this is added security as well, of course, is because your backups are located in a different place than your website. So if anything does go wrong with the server on which your website is sitting, you know that you've got a backup in a different place. So the chances are you'll be able to recover from that backup when you need to. So I click Dropbox as my storage location, and then I click Save Changes, and then what it's going to need to do is to authenticate with my Dropbox account. So if I'm already logged into my Dropbox account, then it will just allow me to go straight through, complete the setup, and now the backups will be taken and stored to my Dropbox account rather than stored on the server on which the website resides. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you need to recover from a backup, it's outside the scope of this course, obviously, but there's lots of information about it on the Updraft website. You can figure out how to recover from the backup if need be. And if you are in that desperate situation as a result of doing this course, you have access to me. So either contact me via email or through my support system, and I'll help you. Not a problem at all. Providing you've got the backup, of course, otherwise I will not be able to help you. So make sure you do install Updraft and make sure that regular backups of your website are being taken. So that's pretty much it in terms of day-to-day maintenance. It's really just updating the theme software, updating the plugin software, and occasionally WordPress, of course, is updated as well, and you'll get an indication in your dashboard if WordPress itself needs an update. So you can then just apply that update, and you'll be running the latest version of WordPress. Now, if your clients want you to maintain the content of their site as well, now bear in mind that I have lots of clients. I have hundreds of clients, and they all have access through the WordPress login to update their own site should they choose to do so. I can honestly tell you that none of them do. They all ask me to do it. Simply because they're concentrating on their business. They have other priorities. They don't want to necessarily learn how to use WordPress, and it's a hell of a lot quicker for me to make those changes for them than it is for them to spend days, if not weeks sometimes, trying to figure out how to do it themselves. So I have an arrangement with my clients whereby they buy some time in advance from me, and they then request changes. I make those changes, and I offset the time that I've spent against the credit on their account, effectively. I found that to be a very, very easy way of managing that part of the client management process and the website management process. My clients are happy about it. I'm happy about it because I'm getting paid for the time that I'm spending on it. And it's cost effective for my clients because it might take me 15 minutes to do a change that they need doing fairly quickly, and it might take them several hours to figure out how to do it themselves, and the chances are that in the end they'll call me anyway and ask me to make that change. So if you start to build up a client base and you are getting requests to make changes to sites on a regular basis, I suggest you implement some sort of similar system whereby the updates and changes that you're getting requested, your time is covered in terms of the time that you're spending doing that. So that's pretty much it. Well done for getting all the way through the course. I hope you found it really, really useful. I hope you will go on and learn how to use the tools in more detail and get more familiar with the tools as you progress. And I hope that I start to see some really, really nice sites that you're building as a result of completing this course. I wish you the best of luck, and as I say, as part of doing this course you do have access to me, so you can via the resources listed in this course, you can find the way to contact me, and if you do need some help, by all means get in touch with me and I'll do my very best to steer you in the right direction. Many thanks indeed, and good luck.